guys, we're just gonna do a little banter while we're waiting for 9 o'clock for people to start coming in. If you want to share, you can go ahead and um, I'm I'll wait for that question because I was just gonna ask a question that who we need to wait for. Now, do y'all enjoy podcasting?
We do.
Yeah, we definitely do. Um, we and you could tell when we haven't potted in a while because we'll get that itch. Like, hey, we haven't recorded, man. What's going on? But trying to balance everything because we're working professionals. We have 5 kids. We got a house to run. So
Right.
we used to do a live one every Sunday. Then we
Okay.
changed Saturday. Then we changed it to Sunday, and then life just started lifing, and was like, hey, we can't really do live, but we'll try to record at least once a month, and then we'll put it out on all the platforms. So that's what we've been sticking to, and we've been pretty consistent with that. But
Okay.
man, it's tough.
What platform y'all use for the like
we
doing your
use
recording?
we use Spotify for podcasters, and they put it out on all the podcasting platforms. So they put it out on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Radiocast. It's like 10 or 11 different platforms that it automatically streams to.
Okay.
So we linked everything to our link tree. So if you click on link tree, it'll take you to all of it. And then of course, we got a TikTok and we have a YouTube and we have a Facebook. So trying to manage all of them is crazy, man. Honestly, if we could afford it, we would have a manager.
What? Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Because not only do I try to manage all, because I have a separate podcast myself alone.
Okay.
And not only do I try to manage this, and like you just stated, we're going through on Spotify as well, and we have the link tree link as well. Because it is kind of hard to have trying to print out cards or try to share and stuff. Just one link. There you go. You can find all of it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh yeah. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. All right. Let's see here. I did my sharing prior. Hey, we're not doing TikTok, so we do it on there. The video.
We're doing TikTok.
No, they that's what I was asking them. Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah. So we good. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and hit the intro, guys, and it's gonna kick you off for a brief moment, and we'll be back and we'll get started.
Sounds like a plan.
All righty.
Welcome to the Sofa Pillow Talk, a podcast that highlights the intricacies of relationships and life. Join us as we explore the complexities and joys of love and navigate the challenges that come with it. We're here to provide you with thought-provoking discussions, practical advice, and heartfelt stories that will resonate with you on a personal level. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or married, we believe that everyone can benefit from open and honest conversations about the ups and downs of love. So grab a cup of tea or wine, find a cozy spot on your sofa, and let's embark on this journey together.
All right, Facebook and YouTube. It's been a while. I want to say what, a couple weeks maybe since our last live.
About a month or so.
And I just been searching and looking at certain posts and trying to come across some great couples, and I do believe, there's no I think, I know, so I'm not even gonna say believe, I know from watching and just checking out some of their posts and whatnot and videos that we have a great couple we'd like to introduce to you guys tonight. You guys go ahead.
What up? What up? We are the Love Life Legacy Podcast. I was about to go on my intro voice. We are the Love Life Legacy. Here we have a real and authentic conversation. Yeah.
Hey, you got that deep voice, so we'll go ahead.
I try. I'm Jonathan Singleton.
And I'm Eva Singleton.
We've been married for 17 years. It'll be 18 July 14th.
Oh, wow.
We have
Okay.
5 beautiful children, and kind of spread out in ages: 18, 16, soon to be 13,
Okay.
9, and 8.
That's
So
okay.
we have kind of like a lot going on over
A
here.
lot. 4 girls, 1 boy.
Yeah,
Oh man, is the boy the youngest?
He the 4th.
Oh, he's
He made it in
He
there.
made it in there. That's my junior. So marriage and family is really, really important to us. And we just found podcasting being a good platform to share our life experiences.
That's right.
And it's good to always, tap in with those of like-minded, like you guys. Thank you for having us on.
Thank you.
And yeah, man, it's refreshing to talk about it. So we're excited for the combo.
Okay. All right. I love it.
Adult therapy. Woo-hoo!
So I missed my disclaimer moment, guys. The views and opinions expressed on the Sofa Pillow Talk podcast are those of the host and guests. The content provided is for informational purposes only and should not be taken as professional advice. Listeners are encouraged to seek the guidance of qualified professionals regarding their specific relationship situations. The podcast is not responsible for any actions that actions taken based on the information provided, and any reliance on the content is at the listener's own risk. So, with that being said, it's not their first question, but it is a question. What's your guys' employment? You stated that you have work
What you
outside.
do for fun?
Yeah, what you doing for fun and work?
Living, work.
Well, hold on. So there's a
What you
two-part.
do for
You're
a
asking
living?
what we do,
Two part.
what
You
we
do
do
the
for
second
fun,
part.
and what we do for work.
I gotta think about fun.
That's a tough one, man. We got to think about fun.
We
That's
podcast for fun.
we do podcasts for fun, but I think that's the only.
I like brunch, but that's not necessarily fun. We like a good nap.
I like it.
Us.
And it
Listen,
is.
guys, we get excited, especially like if the house quiet and we can run up for a nap. It's like we get into bed like a kid and we just start like,
I just had one of them. Lord have mercy.
like yes, see you in 20 minutes. Like yes, we be excited. So that's our kind of fun.
But we also, to add to what you were saying, we also do dates, impromptu dates.
Yes, we do.
More than likely it'll be brunch because of the shift that I work.
And we like hanging in the backyard with the kids.
Definitely,
That's definitely
yeah.
fun.
That's if we can have so once a month we have family meetings.
Okay.
And at the end of the family meetings, when it was warm, we would go out in the backyard, I would throw some hamburgers, some hot dogs, some ribs on the grill, and we would just chill out in the backyard, have
Play
music
volleyball.
playing, volleyball. But majority of our fun is family centered, honestly.
Right.
We make sure that we have time set aside for us, but we're all about family. So family vacations, family time, that's all.
I like that.
Definitely have fun.
Yeah.
Professionally, I am a professor. I teach at a military college. I teach in the School of Engineering, project management, and leadership courses.
Okay.
And I also do a little bit of publishing on the side with a company called 220 Publishing.
Yep.
I saw that.
Professionally, I am a mechatronics technician for Mercedes-Benz vans here in Charleston, South Carolina. So
I think I want you to explain that because his face said, "What you say?"
He's in robotics.
So,
You heard Megatron.
yeah, I said
He working on Optimus Prime.
I'm a robotics technician.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
All right.
That's what I tell my kids all day. They're like, "Daddy, what do you do?" I play with robots all day. That's it. So yeah, because the robots they assemble the van. So
Okay.
when they're not acting right, then that's when I step in. And I make sure that they continue to act right. So we do preventative maintenance and things like that. But it's mostly robotics.
So
And,
you got kids at work too, huh?
Yeah, facts. Because they act spoiled, and when they don't get their way, they like to stop and they complain and they make noise, and I gotta get them in line. And then when I'm not doing that, I'm working on Love Life Legacy Enterprises. I'm editing videos, I'm uploading. I do officiant services, so we perform weddings, and so I'm doing that's all my free time if I'm not at.
Oh, okay. I see why y'all are napping and it is
I get it now. It makes more sense now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what brought you guys together? Like, how did you meet?
Okay, we got to go all the way back to high schools where
Let's
we
go
met.
back way
Oh, that's so sweetheart.
But you tell a story.
High school sweethearts. Okay. So we knew of each other for a long time because since middle school.
Oh wow!
But it wasn't until JV basketball sophomore year. And
wait, who played basketball?
Both.
Okay, we both played basketball.
Be honest.
But I was just a good player on the team for support, Okay. I'm one of the people that thought I was doing a lot, but wasn't doing much.
Yeah,
just happy to
doing
be
a lot. Support is much bigger than getting the ball in the hoop. Even though they want the ball in the hoop, but support is amazing. They need that.
Thank you. So yes, I was good in practice, but I always got scared like on the court because they used to tease me the way I run. There was a lot of insecurity.
It was one year, and for that 1 year she played ball, she did good. But you can't expect a whole lot from 1 year ball.
Don't play me now.
I'm just saying.
I was good.
You were a role player.
I had a lot of good.
She was good. That's her story, and she's
sticking to it.
Now listen, I got a mean pass.
Hey, listen,
bounce pass was me.
Oh man, I played sports my whole life. I mean, I put my first pair of shoulder pads on when I was 7, and I played everything under the sun. So back to the story.
Yeah.
So we're on the way to an away game, and around this time, this is when Jay-Z and Nas was beefing. So Ethernet was hot. I mean, Ether was hot.
Ether, okay.
And that was my pre-game warm-up, get my mind right song, right?
Okay.
So I go and I get my CD player, look for my headphones, can't find headphones. I got my headphones. So I'm looking around on the bus, just kind of looking to see who I can bum some headphones off of. And I peep Evo over to the right. Now, mind you, I did not expect for it to go the way that it did, but I took a shot. So I tap her on the shoulder.
While I listening to my headphones are in my ears.
Yeah, tap on the shoulder.
Or on my head.
And I said, hey, can I use your headphones? And without hesitation, she took her headphones off and she gave me her headphones.
Oh, wow.
And I stood there for a second because I was waiting for the rebuttal to come. Like, boy, if you give me my headphones back. But it didn't. So I took the headphones, I walked back to my seat, and I sat down. And for a good hot minute, I just stared at the back of her head. I didn't even put the headphones on because I could not believe that she gave me her headphones. It had to have been about an hour drive because it was a far away game, and she sacrificed her comfort for me. And that spoke volumes.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting there like, why? But I think I had a book or something.
But she didn't really understand how important that was to me. But that really touched my heart. And from there, I thought it would be good to kind of invest in a friendship because if somebody can be that sacrificing, I want to see what else kind of values that they have.
Wow.
And that was the beginning of our friendship. That eventually turned into a relationship, a year later. But we were friends for a year and focused on being friends, didn't do anything intimate, nothing. And then a year later, I was like, hey, man, we got to see what this thing is.
Because I was going off to college. So
yeah,
he was
had to lock him down.
All right.
But yeah, that's how we started.
That's good. I like that. And you say we didn't have no cute story like that. Yes, we do. Because it wasn't headphones, but you had bought me the manila folders for my business, and I dang near almost cried because somebody bought something. I never had anyone to invest in an ideal of mine, and I had spoken to her about my business and whatnot. And so I had just got a filing cabinet and whatnot, and she bought some.
After I took him to an appointment for a urologist, and I didn't even know who he was.
Oh,
So you trying to tell me that ain't cute?
That is very that is a very similar.
And that would be self-sacrificing because I didn't know you from a can of paint, and I took you to a doctor's appointment.
Brother, I don't want to take over the pod because I know y'all have a platform, but I want to ask a question, man to man. Yeah. How can you talk to the importance of what it feels like as a man to be supported by the women that we actually don't even know we're attracted to, but just a woman in general? What did that feel? What's that like for you? How important is that?
That was the thing. It was beyond me because we both were previously married, and I just knew for a fact that my first wife, that was it, that was the one, and it went down here real quick. But being in the Black community, you know, you're taught years versus like the longevity versus quality.
Quantity versus
quality. Yeah, hey, regardless of what's going on, you stick it in. And me personally, I just come to the realization that God didn't make marriage hell, and that's where I was at. And so to come across her, it was already a situation of, and don't you act crazy. God told me that she was my wife.
Awesome.
There we go.
And so, but I also had to go through a healing process.
Right.
I understand.
And so in order for me to go through my healing process, and God just made it perfectly clear that, hey, you go through your steps, you do what you need to do. That's it for you. And I went through, but I had also, even though I told her, hey, you're going to be my wife, she wasn't hearing it at the first time, but to answer your question, I think is very important because again, I think that's something that a lot of Black men don't have.
Yeah.
Is that support.
Yeah.
And we act hard as if we don't need it, but you can see how it changes when someone really supports, even if they just supporting your drug habit. You being a drug dealer, it's just having that support. It is like an amazing thing. It is almost like you can conquer the world because that's how I feel. I go out, I wake up every morning, I go out and knowing that I can turn around and she has my back, not for no foolishness, but she has my back. So it's great.
It is, man. Awesome. It's a feeling. And then besides my mom, she was the first girl that had ever shown me that type of support and sacrifice. And it's like, it's always been said that guys tend to marry, the image of their mother. And for me, I had never seen somebody that would go out their way like that. And she was the first person, and that spoke volumes to me because it's important. The love that my mom displayed throughout my life as a young Black boy, was so pivotal for me. And I saw that displayed in her, and it was the first time. And outside of the love that I had for my mom, I was like, what is this? Like, I never had somebody to just kind of extend out to me. I'm always been the one to give. And she was the first person to give in that way. And I'm like, oh, there's got to be something here. This has to be. So, yeah, man, it's important.
That's pretty much what mine was. I can say that my mom is a wonderful person. Actually, both our moms are just wonderful people. But my mother didn't know how to. She was supportive, but in a sense of societal wise, as in, because this is a story I always tell, and I've talked to her plenty of times about it, whereas she would tell me, hey, you can be anything that you set yourself out to be and whatnot, but when I say, okay, hey, I want to try this, don't you want to go work at the factory because that's what's going to bring you money? I don't think that what that dream that you got right now is going to be suitable, because I had kids early as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth, because now I'm like, well, dang, you told me I can be anything, so now you don't believe in me. But as I got older, I understood why she thought like that.
Yeah.
It's because how she was raised.
Yeah.
So but now, and she has wonderful qualities, definitely. And I somewhat see some similar characteristics in my wife, but it wasn't a purpose driven thing to go out and find my mom. It just so happened that they kind of mirror each other in a sense.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. Stop smiling.
And so, since we were talking about support, that kind of goes into the next question. What are the key ingredients for a successful and fulfilling relationship? And he put it in your opinion, but they've been together a long time. I think y'all got some good juice to pour on that question.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. For me, it's short. You look like you anxious to say something.
No, I'm listening up. I was gonna say something I thought you was gonna say.
Go ahead.
One thing we always say when we coach couples, when they ask us that question, is the power of consideration.
Mm-hmm.
And because I think people don't understand how far you being considerate could go. Yeah. And with consideration, I think the other one, of course, is communication. But to be considerate, it's either one of those two. When we first started out being married, I was not as considerate. Now, and the reason why I'm saying it like that is because I didn't know, we got married really young at 18 and 19, and I didn't know to consider. Yeah. Right. I just knew to do, whatever came to my mind to do. And when we had certain arguments and things like that, it's just learning to really put somebody first in a way, not to say putting yourself on the back burner, but to think ahead, to show an effort, to take initiative, to show all of those things in advance. And so when we end up talking to different couples about the certain things that they had issues with, it always could fall back to, well, did you consider this? Did you consider them in that way? And when we had that question, the person would usually dive back, but this is how I feel, or and it's like, no, it's the partnership. And when you start to consider the other person and the other person practicing considering you, it forces you to now sharpen each other, build upon each other, and to be considerate. When we listen to you call it the couples war, gender wars,
yeah.
Oh man, that's
like that. It's the lack of consideration for the other person. And it's like the power of consideration, when it comes to who got the toothpaste this, or, the petty arguments, or even the big arguments, it's to be consideration.
Exactly.
To have consideration.
Exactly. And I think that begins to teach each other how to have empathy for one another. That's what's lacking. Mm-hmm. It's you having empathy for the person that you said that you were going to be committed to. Right. So even with the gender war thing, it's them fighting for the position of being right and not actually trying to be empathetic toward one another. They both have valid points on both sides, right? But how do you come to the table and now find common ground and be empathetic toward what that person said? For example, if me and my wife have a disagreement, right? And she does this very well, very, very well. If I say something was going on in the disagreement, she'll respond by saying, what I'm hearing you say is. What that's communicating at that time is I am taking the time to try to empathize with where you're coming from. That's a part of that consideration. Mm-hmm. And I think that's lost in translation when it comes to marriages. And that's where the breakdown happens, because it always starts at communication. But the communication is just the door to open to get to where that person really is. And if you're not considerate enough to hear and to be empathetic with where that person is coming, then it's just going to start breaking down and getting worse and worse and worse. So I think for us, that has been the most successful key to our relationship, because we've been able to work through a lot. I mean,
by practicing
But
consideration.
practicing consideration a lot. So yeah.
It's funny you say that because it's one of the one things that I did bring to the relationship at the very beginning was the church that I was a part of when we first started talking. They had a series called Fair Fight, and that was one of the things that repeating back what your partner is saying, just so you can get clarification of what your partner is feel that you're doing or not doing. So I like that. But that also make me go back to you guys' recent post that I watched. And I liked it the way that your wife explained how the authority thing, how taking authority from the boss, but then not yeah,
Taking authority at home.
the taking authority at home different. And I didn't think about it in that way that a lot of households are, and regardless if it's the male or the female, it's a lot of that going on where that miscommunication.
Exactly.
So I
Because
like that.
you can like how she said, you can take it from your boss, but when it comes to your spouse in the house, is like it's just we're always just finding ways to fight with one another.
It's a lack of respect that comes from you not being considerate.
Exactly.
We respect those, rather it's the fair kind of respect or or the other kind of respect.
Do you think it's because we don't practice the golden rule, or the golden rule is just like a foreign concept, treating others the way you would want to be treated?
I think it's deeper than that. I think it's the value aspect. I value my boss because my boss, making sure that by me work, I'm getting paid. I see value in it. I'm not going to mess this up. But I may not. You can come and go. I probably already have it made up in my mind that I'm gonna leave anyways. You do one thing wrong or say something else.
I like
it's
that
a whole attitude around it.
Yeah,
that's good.
But if I was dependent upon you like I depend on my boss, I would treat you a little different. I'll hold my tongue a little better. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
good.
I can still be
I
angry.
wish I had my drops.
But I wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that consideration can lead to that compromise. And again, if you want your boss to consider you for another position, you got to compromise. I don't want to do what you told me to do with all those folders, but I'm gonna put all them folders up because you might consider me for that promotion that I want. So we have to think about that at home. Maybe I should consider if I cook, maybe he might compromise and say, "Oh, let me help. Let me clean up the kitchen."
Right. There you go. That's
so
good.
Now we got free time to say, "Hey, we can chill out and hang," instead of us arguing about, "Oh my God, every time I cook, you always like it."
That's right.
It leads to less conflict.
There you go.
This is an off-topic subject, but it still fits in the topic. Which that probably didn't make sense when I just said it.
What you just said?
I explained it. But gender roles.
Oh, that is one of the questions.
Is that one of the questions?
Did we put it? Might be. Well, I don't think we. Yeah, it is. What are your thoughts on
gender
roles in the household?
Yeah.
And do y'all have specific roles that you toss up between each other?
It just popped up and because of what we're talking about. I mean, because you find a lot of this disrespect coming in. What society says that a man's supposed to do in the house and what a woman's supposed to do in the house.
Shameless plug. We actually have 2 episodes on our podcast, episode 5 and 6.
Okay.
That we talked about gender roles in 2 parts.
Okay.
So in our relationship, we kind of blur the lines of what gender roles look like. Honestly, we still believe in order as far as head of household. Because God's design is God's design, right? But when it comes to what we do in the house, they get blurred and we make it work for us. For example, I am a good cook. I've always, I went to culinary school for a little while. Okay. I've always had an interest in cooking. My wife, not so much in the beginning, and so it would have been unfair of me to put that gender role on her based on how traditional of a man that I am when she just
I big chicken him out, y'all.
Oh my gosh. Lord have mercy.
Big chicken, corn and rice. Some days put barbecue sauce, corn and rice, sweet peas and rice.
Jesus
big
Christ.
Chicken. Squeeze a little lemon on it. Big chicken.
I appreciated the effort, but it got to a point when I was like, babe, I can't do no more big chicken. I can't. I love you. I appreciate the effort, but I am big chicken now. It's so bad that even to this day,
we don't big
we
chicken.
don't big.
Out of all them years, and that was before we got married. So that's about 20 years of no big chicken.
No big chicken.
And for some reason, our kids don't eat big chicken.
Oh, because I passed my trauma on to them, giving them that horror story.
But what I appreciate though, because I didn't grow up cooking and things like that, and he did, you know, when I was ready to listen, he taught me how to cook.
Right.
You know,
right. Instead of me holding that, like how I hear some of these young cats talk about, well, what do you bring to the table? All right. So if you are equipped at the table and you really find value in this person, then how about you equip the person that you find value at the table? That you already at? What are you investing? What are you using your life lessons and skills to actually pour into that person? Again, consideration and empathy, right?
Yeah.
She didn't have that. So instead of me like coming down on her and demeaning her and belittling, I'm like, all right, babe, let's start little by little. This is. And now to this point, she's a good cook. She does great. She even has her specialties. You know, where are you guys from?
We're in Georgia.
Georgia.
Okay.
So y'all familiar with red rice?
Yes.
Got it. I don't touch red rice.
Okay.
Red rice is her thing, right?
Okay.
Macaroni and cheese is her thing.
I do all the southern, the rutabagas, and all that stuff. He don't have to cook any. He don't. I don't think you ever cook a part of red rice.
No, I won't touch it because you know she got good. But again, gender roles in our household has just been a blurred thing because we do what works for us.
We do, and it's like in almost everything we do have our dominant things that we work on. Like he would do majority of the cooking. I'll back up. He does the outside stuff. I'm the only one that really does like our laundry, and our older kids do theirs. But at any point in time, if I need to do the trash, I'll do the trash. If he needs to do the laundry, he would.
Wait a minute. No, you trying to tell me you do the trash? How he let you? No, just playing.
She has, because like excuse me, I work off schedule, so sometimes when they're here and the kids are going ballistic and the trash cans are just full, I'm not here to take them out.
Right.
One of our daughters do it, or our son, you know, he's primary, but we split everything. We do have our places that we do go in, you know, honey, can you grab this or whatever, or we do it naturally. But because we are considerate and because we understand that this is an organization we running in this house, we all pitch in where we can when we need to. And we teach that.
It's a team thing. It's a team thing, man.
It's a team thing.
Yeah. So
my wife gonna cook. And she's going to have dinner ready for me when I get home. I look at guys that are like that. I'm like, oh, you caveman. I am traditional through and through, right? I mean, you just, I am.
Right? I like to say that it's unfair to do it to somebody. If you're not doing it for yourself before you get with me, don't expect me to do it when I get with you. It's okay to ask me or consider asking me, hey, would you mind doing that if my schedule and time permits? But however you were feeding yourself before, like you kind of want to keep feeding yourself the same way, you know? Or we both gonna be hungry.
Yeah, that's good.
We just have to come to a compromise and figure it out, because having dinner on the table and being home by 5 every day is not feasible in 2024.
It's not.
And our dynamic is totally different, definitely, due to the fact that considered 100% disabled. I have multiple sclerosis. I may not look like it, and people that see me, you're doing great. You are doing great. I am. You're right. I am doing great.
Yeah, you look good, brother. I've never been able to
tell. I do. I have my days and whatnot. I am so tired of taking treatments twice a year, but I don't want to be where I was right before I met her, where only thing I can think about is the shunning that society placed on men, to where
at the point that I did meet her, I only had $400 a month coming into my checking account. Um, I was kind of heavy set a little bit. I was taking 32 pills 3 times a day. And the only thing I can think about is what woman is going to want me, because again, society says that, because I'm walking still. So with me walking, you're supposed to be able to do something.
Right.
And so that's my thing. I'm like, it's nobody gonna want me. And I had to do some real soul searching, some healing, and that journey was so great for me, because it made me understand that is we as people have construed God's word so much,
Right. Right.
and we pick and choose how we want to use it, when we want to use it, and not dissecting and researching the whole concept of it. So I like that you guys blend those roles in when it needs to be, because it's pretty much the same thing with us. She works majority.
I'm the primary worker, and he's pretty much stay-at-home dad.
Cook, clean.
He cooks, he cleans, take out the trash. He still opens the door for me. He's still, he's still man in the house. If he say, "Hey, babe, I need you to pick up the groceries," I pick up the groceries. If I need to cook, I cook.
That's right.
There you
whatever
go.
need to be done. He will fuss at me if I grab a trash bag or open my own door, but
I speed up. I see me opening the door. I have to trip her and stuff. And
because I was a single woman for a little while before I met you, so just doing things that are natural. I like my house a particular way, so I kick in where I can to make sure I do what I need to do.
There you go.
And I know you got me.
That's awesome.
That's
but
right.
y'all make it work for y'all, and that's what's important.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's the thing.
And we say that a lot. You have to do whatever works for you and your dynamic.
Yeah, we tell it's the same with you guys. People that we're coaching, we express what we do, but we don't advise that you do it if that's not what you're accustomed to, because our dynamic might not be the dynamic that you want.
Right.
So
I think we've answered all the questions for the first half.
Yeah, kind of already talked about the what prompted you guys to do the podcast, but the dating. How important do you guys think dating in a marriage is?
Dating is really. Let me make sure I understand. Dating in a marriage?
Yes.
Got it. Okay. I think dating is really important to make sure that you don't forget the person that you fell in love with. Like setting aside that time so that it's not just monotonous and you just going with the flow, and they just become just a person that you're used to being there, right? I remember our second oldest daughter, I forgot how we got in the conversation, but she said, Dad, sometimes I have to remind myself that y'all are like a real couple.
Like, we're just not my mom and
y'all
dad.
Just not no mom and dad. Like, y'all have a real relationship. And I got what she was saying, but that to me speaks to what I'm trying to communicate. That you can kind of forget that, hey, we're a couple, we're married. There were things that, made us interested in one another.
Right.
And we have to make sure we're intentional in investing in those things so that we don't forget that we are a couple.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Got to invest in it. So
I like to add to that, honey. I think in a relationship, especially being in a relationship as long as we have, and I know we don't have like the longest relationship, but to us, as long as we have had, right? I think we have to do a good job of speaking to all aspects of us. I like being shown a good time. I like new things. I like experiences, and in the confines of our healthy relationship, I can only experience those things with you.
Right.
I still like to feel chased. I still like to feel wanted. And I only want it from you.
Right.
So I just think that we just have to continue to date so that we could continue to speak to each other's love languages, make each other feel important.
That's good.
I like, knowing when we have our date scheduled and feeling that little fuzzy feel like I'm about to see my man, those types of things, because, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel refreshed. I like we went to Vicious Biscuit
that's our new spot.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if y'all have one in
Wait
Georgia.
a minute.
We don't have a Vicious Biscuit,
where
but
y'all at?
We're in Charleston, South
Somerville.
Carolina, in Somerville area.
Is that close to my brother? Wait,
I think so. No, I got a girlfriend that stays there. I don't think we've ever been to Charleston. I'm gonna have to take you.
Yeah,
y'all gotta come up. We'll take y'all to Vicious Biscuit.
I like bread. So
Yes.
Their biscuits,
Listen.
like I'm not even exaggerating. I have never had a biscuit that good. Usually biscuits are like byproducts. You get to it, but no, I eat it as
the biscuit is the first thing you grab, huh?
Oh my, because they incorporate it in all the dishes that they make. So it's like you kind of can't get away from it, but you don't want to get away from it.
Okay.
The dishes are 100% authentic. Real.
Creative.
I gotta do an ad. This seems like an ad.
Yes.
Like
Currently not sponsored, but we'll be soon.
yeah.
But we was out on a brunch date, so I had my little lipstick on, I just had looked simple. And it was this older couple sitting behind us, and she was like, "You just look so pretty today." And I was like, "Really?" And it's like, just being out on a date, feeling young. We already have a lot of stress in life. We got the work, we got the rigmarole, having that, that peace to just say, like, you know what, let's just take a break from what's going on and the havoc and the stress.
Let me go out with my friend again.
And that's exactly what it is, because we're friends first. Our friendship, carried us through, every trial and tribulation we went through in our marriage and things like that. So it's like, let's date, let's go out, let's dedicate this time.
Go ahead, girl.
So dating is very
that
important.
you can still see it now, and it seems fresh for me looking at you guys and looking at you talk. And before we
somebody asked us a question
that Dr. Whitney just posted in here, I would like to say that we kind of get the same thing because we don't dress color wise. We don't dress
color coordinate.
I don't think I can wear a dress better than she can. So,
I don't know. I'll hook you up. I got you.
But we color coordinate, and we have a lot of people like, oh, we like the way, I've always wanted that. And people kind of laugh at me because, like I tell her all the time, I've been trying to get married ever since I was 13. And I think it came from me watching the uncomfortable experience with my parents. Knowing that my mom was a great catch, but my dad didn't treat it as such. So I think in the back of my head, I started creating an idea of I have to go out, because I'm not dating my mom, but I have to go out and find someone that I can treat how my mom would deserve to be treated.
I got you. That makes sense.
Now that I'm saying out loud, I do believe that's where my chivalry comes from.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that's good.
He buys my clothes, so I guess I can look like you when you.
And that's funny too, because every time I say I'm shopping and stuff, and people realize who I'm shopping for, I'm like, hey, I'm shopping. I wish my husband would shop for me.
I loathe shopping. It's not my favorite thing to do.
It's also about paying attention too.
I wear the same T-shirt 5 days in a row if I could.
She will. She got all the full stuff on, got her, and she'll still wear the same 5 stuff. We changed up when we date or whatnot, but and I think it's only because the type of work you do.
I be trying to chill.
But Dr. Whitney says, a question for both couples. When you have single male friends who ask you, what do I get out of a marriage besides sex? Why should I get married? What is your answer? I'll let you guys go first with that.
All right, here's my man brain. Why he asking you that?
Exactly.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't trust men. I know our nature. So in my brain, if there is there intention behind that? Like, are you trying to play to see what their answer or response is going to be, to know what your follow up is going to be? Why aren't you asking a male that question to get a better understanding? I
I
don't
can see that. Like, so is he saying no from the beginning before he even is that a question during dating? And why is that even an option? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. So I would caution that sister from even entertaining questions like that, because we are sneaky. First, honestly. But if I could, we say the guy's usually asking a woman that dresses sexually. Okay, let me get out that side of my brain for a second. I know us. Anyways. But how I would answer that question to that gentleman if he was in front of me, I would tell him that you having a partner, having somebody who has your back, doing life, building a legacy, enjoying life with somebody is one of the greatest treasures as a man that I have ever experienced thus far, right? Being married has sharpened me as a man and as a person, because remember, consideration, right? So I have developed and evolved in greater lengths being married that I think I would have been able as a single person.
Okay.
Because marriage challenges me, and men, we need to be challenged so that we can become the best version of ourselves. That's why we're the greatest competitors in sports, because we have to be challenged. And how else does our discipline become sharpened without a relationship with somebody who is being used to sharpen that? I can't be as sharp with my mouth as I want to be, right? That's the discipline I have to work on. I can't go out and entertain any and everybody the way how I want to, because I have to respect the person who I'm in a relationship with. I'm being sharpened in that disciplined area, and other areas too as a man. And I just have seen just leaps and bounds in the relationship that I don't think I would have if I was single. So to that gentleman, if you want to continue to perfect who you are as a man, get married.
Get married. Yep.
Get married. Honestly, because there is no single man that I have seen, rather I've seen them with riches, or a bunch of women that I have seen and I've said that man is perfecting his journey as a man while here on earth. Because everything that I have seen, men that are single, that have the riches or have the women, they always carry themselves with the external, tangible things.
Yes.
Look at what I have.
Yep.
Look at who I can attract. Look at what I can buy.
Yeah.
Look at the things,
but
right?
Empty.
They're empty. So they lack the intangibles.
Yep.
Right? They're scared of commitment. They're scared of sacrifice. They're scared of the, duty, right? It's like all the intangible things are lacking. And it's like, okay, I know since I was a little boy that I didn't want that, right? So I needed to be married. So, dude, find a woman who's your friend that you can build with. Get married. Perfect your manhood.
Yeah.
I don't think he marriage material if he asks him that question.
I think he has that question for something else, but I'm gonna keep my opinion against
it.
Shout out to my god brother. He's making a comment. He's a single man, finna get ready to be a married man. And his comment says, "What's up, family? I also agree. My fiance has truly been a blessing and redefining me as a man. We're both willingly walking with God and making each other better.
Absolutely.
And I believe at the end of the day that is the ultimate goal."
Yes.
I think relationships, especially in the confinements of marriage, is so special. It is truly divine because we are created to be relational beings. And the marriage relationship is the only relationship that continuously get deeper and deeper the more you grow spiritually, emotionally, and all those other facets.
That's true.
As a relationship, as a parent, now you have people that go hard for their children, and I'm one of them. But our relationship, as they get older, it tempers off. It changes. Our relationship with our parents, our relationship with our coworkers, our relationships, even with people we call our best friends, don't meet this climax. And then once we get a certain climax, we can experience another level of climax, another level of growth, and things like that. So it's like we're created to be relational beings, and as we evolve in relationship, as we get older and wiser and different trials and things like that, we can only be our better self. I sound biased because, everyone's not going to be married, but I enjoy, this is my experience, I enjoy having that partner who was willing to do it with me because of the wholeness it brings me.
That's good.
I wouldn't know myself in certain areas. I wouldn't know my strengths in certain areas if I didn't have this type of partner, this type of relationship, this type of friendship. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's like, where do you get up by side sex? Depends on how high you go in your relationship. Sex become one of the bottom things.
And
it's not that we don't experience good sex, because we do.
We do.
But that's just a little small 10% benefit. Sometimes I get more out of a good conversation than I would out of sex. I'm not saying that it's not important, but sometimes that connection and understanding between yourself and your partner is like more of a climax than anything you could ever experience. And then that, before leading into a very intimate moment, it can be like mind blowing in itself. So I feel like they're both necessary.
For me, that's what it is for me, the conversation. And I never really thought that I would be the one that liked conversating. And like with her, it's like, I'm ready to go after we have a little pillow talk,
You
don't talk to me like that, girl. Don't talk to me like that.
Intellectually stimulate me.
Stimulate me, right? And I think that's something else that I taught myself is, if I could stimulate her mentally and spiritually, the body is coming later on.
And
I've always taken sex as being sacred, and it was my thing with her. Like, if I'm having sex with you, we together. So I have to be careful with who I'm having sex with, because I associate that with marriage. And so I can't just randomly have sex with you like that. Now, so that's why it was easy for me to be friends with her. And I enjoyed that, because I can say out of my 43 years of living that she
44.
40. Hey, don't, why are you adding years, man? My birthday was I can say that she's probably the best friend that I've ever had. And I wouldn't.
Don't his other best friends don't come for me. He said that, not me. I love my brothers and sisters, though.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, cause, and it's something that I say a lot to people. The best thing that I can do for her, for myself, is going to sleep and waking up and expecting to fall in love with a brand new person. Because I think a lot of men fail to understand, and it just couples in general fail to the realization of things happen, on a daily basis, to where she can walk out the house right now and be gone for 30 minutes, and some traumatic can happen to her. So when she comes in the house, she's not the same person that just left.
Something beautiful can happen,
And
I'm still different.
Yeah, and so you have to understand and recognize that it's so many people that lose people that's important to them, like their parents and whatnot, and sometimes it changes them. And you have a lot of partners that just turn and go, or like my situation, where I was almost to the point that I started walking. And my thing is that sickness and health don't sit good when you witness it. In person. You can you say the vows and whatnot in front of the the judge or the preacher and whatnot. But then when it happens to you, people tend to run.
Right.
And I think that that's the best thing that I've acquired for myself from my marriage is knowing that my wife is always going to change.
Right.
And so I'm ready for that. And that's the chase for me, So that's what I would tell someone that, hey, don't be complacent. Don't use that ideology of don't change or staying the same because you can't. Not in a marriage. It's
Not in any
yeah.
relationship. Growth is necessary. If you ain't growing, then
It's fine.
what you doing in a relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what's our end goal? What are we doing to better ourselves or each other?
That's right.
Just because I really don't like Siri right now, but what I was trying to say, my marriage has changed me 180 degrees. I'm in a safe place where I can share my feelings and not be judged and be myself.
That's awesome.
That's
Also,
amazing.
Lisa knows I used to be rough and angry all the time. I mean, all the time. My husband has created a place for me where I know I'm safe and I can express how I feel. So before we segue to the video and ask a couple of things, because guys, we do have a two-part. And try not to make it too long. My wife got some study to do and whatnot. And but as a man, do you think that you're able to be vulnerable around your wife?
I can. It took a while to get there.
Okay.
And I even, I still struggle with it because of, just the things that we've dealt with in our marriage. But I honestly can say that she has provided me a safe space
Okay.
that I could be vulnerable around her. Another shameless plug. We talk about this and come on.
I knew he was gonna do that.
Hey, plug away, God darn it. Plug away. I love it.
We talked about so much, man. We did a 3-part infidelity series where in one of the conversations that we talked about, she said that I laid next to her for years and didn't know the things that I was struggling as a man because I didn't feel comfortable with speaking those things because I was afraid of being judged. Now this was 10 years in.
Wow.
So I could only imagine if I felt like we're at 10, what some men feel at year 2, year 3, year 4, sometimes they don't make it to 10.
Yeah.
So vulnerability and as a man and being able to share that with our wives is so important because there are not a lot of created safe spaces for men.
Right.
And it's sad that a lot of married men don't even feel safe in their marriage, but it's necessary because we have to be able to talk those things out so that we don't explode and it comes out the wrong way. Right. So I would say I am, and I would encourage, if any married person that's hearing me, if just ask your husband, ask that question. Do you feel safe talking to me? And let precursor to the statement. I will not get mad if you're honest.
Right.
And stand to that, please. Because if you mess that interaction up, you may not be able to get that back. But it's important to create that safe space because we need it. So yeah. Stop smiling.
You guys believe in marriage counseling? We missed a question earlier.
Oh. Boy, that's a good one.
I believe in marriage counseling,
that's a good one.
But I don't believe marriage counseling works for everyone because most people are not ready for marriage counseling. They don't know themselves enough. They don't do the inner work. And I'm just going off of our coaching experience of some couples that we have dealt with. One of our presentations that we do when we're like figuring out if a coaching session would be enough for them. In the presentation, we have a slide that talks about, that
the cost.
It costs more than money. and we list out things that it costs. And those things are like, their emotions, vulnerability is on the slide, all those things, all these things that are hard for people to grapple with. I have talked to people that, I've been to marriage counseling, it didn't work. Well, the marriage counseling wasn't broken. That's not the part that doesn't work. Is that how are you going to apply those things to you?
Right.
And I think that's the hardest part of people taking the responsibility and being able to see themselves. So I do believe in marriage counseling. It's just that the person has to be ready. They have to have a contrite heart. They have to be willing. They have to understand how much it's going to cost.
And self-work individually is key before getting to the marriage counseling, because we're two individuals first before we come together as one. So,
absolutely.
And we use a bow tie analogy with that one, Lisa. Yeah. So we show them that you on this side, you on that side. What's in the knot? What of all of ourselves that we are bringing here in the middle? And you start see faces, and then we start asking questions, because, depends on, where they're at in the relationship. They know which part they holding out, that they're keeping on the far side.
I love to hate that. And it's like, how are you expecting to get something out of it if you're not being honest and doing the work?
Yeah.
That's right. So does it work? Yeah, it can.
It can.
But will it work? That's all on you.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay.
Indeed. So we might have to do a part 2. Oh my God. We haven't even got into the parenting.
I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of the snippet and ask just a couple of things pertaining to it. And we would love to, in a few weeks or so, if we can come back and divulge in it a little bit more, because I like y'all angle on it. And it spoke volume because we're sitting in what you guys were talking about, like right now. And so, let me see if I can go here.
A safe atmosphere in our home and give our kids the liberty to voice their opinions and to ask questions, even to the point of even challenging our decisions. And we said, as long as it's done with respect, that we were going to allow this. Why? Because we are trying to break generational curses, right? Because old school didn't care about what your opinion was. Just like what she said. She said, you don't have an opinion until you get a job. That's old school. And we're trying to undo what the old school did to us. And so we tried it. And when I tell you that was the most stressful time in our lives, it put us on such an emotional roller coaster, up and down. Yeah. We spent days and nights crying in confusion and questioning, are we doing it right? Where are we dropping the ball? We used to have constant family emergency meetings to figure out, what are we doing wrong? How are you guys not understanding the privilege that we are affording you guys to have by even allowing y'all to ask questions and to be as vocal and as vulnerable as children that we're allowing you? We said, hey, we're setting an example. We share of ourselves and letting y'all into our space to teach you guys life lessons so that you guys would know, hey, this is what I need not to do. My mama and my daddy is showing us the way, and this is what I'm going to use as my armor to protect me from the world. I'm going to learn from their mistakes. But they did the opposite. They use it as their ammunition against us. What we did was give them too much leverage as a child against our parenting.
Oh, that is
bars.
Yes.
Yes. I will say that when he first heard the clip, he was like, "Hey, wow!" Because we were like black hole spiraling into, okay, this is happening fast, and it was like boom, 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 boom. Okay, we got a lot going on. There's a lot to unpack. But I will say that if we hadn't opened up to questioning and allowing our kids to ask us questions, we probably wouldn't have gotten to the point where we're at. It would have been even worse. I think we would have had an even more tragic situation than the one that came out. But we definitely are at a point where we're like, okay, we're gonna have to limit the questions, and we have to go back to the do as I say, not as I do, because baby, this ain't where it's at.
And it's not that it's not we don't want them to ask questions, pretty much kind of like you guys were saying. It was more of and because that's why I was trying to, she was letting me know that our youngest, like, well, she's asking questions, like the whys that she's asking are not questions. They're more or less is challenging the authority of what I am asking her to do. It's so when you're doing that, then yeah, I have no room for tolerance with that. Because I want them to ask questions, legitimate questions, you know, but sitting and challenging authority, and it's something that she tells them a lot. Whereas, listen, if the house is on fire and I tell you to move, I don't need you to ask me why. I just need you to go.
Yep.
And so we are to the point that a lot of the kids nowadays are why am I jumping out the window this way? Why am I doing that? Why? And you already know, so the fire is coming in this direction. That's unfortunately the only direction we can go.
Yeah.
And you're just causing problems at this point.
Yeah.
That's something that one of the clips I also posted, my wife said, she says, sometimes I may only get one opportunity to give you a command. And if I'm not training you in a way to respond on the first time, that one opportunity can be life-threatening to you if you have not been taught in how to react to my command.
Right.
And it's my job to see potential threats that your lack of life experience, you can't see. That's my job, right? So if I'm seeing danger and I'm telling you to move, I just need you to respond and trust that I am doing my job in your best interest and have your best interest in hand, right? And in thought and heart. I don't need you to sit there and question me. I just need you to react and respond. Bus is coming. Move. Well, why am I moving? You better get out the way.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
What are you talking about? You asking me? That's not your place. That's not your job. And it's like, you know, I remember even the conversations. I remember a couple of times they told us what we were supposed to be doing as parents. Like, that's your job. That's a trigger for me. Don't ever tell me what my job is if you never assume the role of a parent.
Or ask them to do something and they're like, why?
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, that's one
do
of the
I
things
have
I
to
was
give you a reason?
about. Yeah.
No.
Why you ain't ask them? Yeah.
You better get up.
Why not you? What else are you doing right now? Do you have a job?
What a box of gloves there?
It's all audacious. It's like the audacity that you think that you have lived long enough to even question why I'm telling you to do something.
Right.
You know, it's all ego, and I don't know where this generation has gotten it from, but we're gonna have to bring it down a notch.
Definitely.
Honestly.
So with you saying that, do you think that comes with we've allowed it?
Absolutely. I think Oh, go ahead. You want to say something?
I was gonna say I think society has given them the space to think that it's okay for them to question their parents.
Took the words right out my mouth.
Because when it came to defects, I can't spank my kid for as a disciplinary action because they're gonna call defects on me because I'm beating them.
Yeah.
But back in the day, we got beat for the simplest stuff, and it wasn't like we didn't die. We're not in jail. We ain't in trouble. We might have been, had a little knot on our head. Ankles might have been a little swollen with switch marks, but we did what our mom and dad said do, and we ain't getting no trouble. Nowadays, they out here smoking weed, getting pulled over, driving cars, stabbing their mamas over PlayStations. It's
I saw that.
ridiculous.
It is very ridiculous. The only point I would like to add is that I saw a comment come up about communication. There are some fallacies about communication that I always hear, or especially when it comes to um, correcting the children and what respect looks like. First of all communication is not good communication. We can't just say, it's for them to communicate or learn communication. No, we could be teaching them bad communication as well. And there's also stages of growth and development. Some conversations they're literally not ready to have, right? And sometimes, let me just go back to us, right? In one video, I talked about parenting from our childhood. I wanted to say certain things and I had questions that I had unresolved. Great parents and all, but it's like, I wanted to have my 2 cents put in. Now on this side of parenting, I understand why my 2 cents wasn't needed. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it just wasn't. I didn't have enough perspective. I couldn't see down the line. So when like one of our daughters, when she started driving, and it's like, okay, we could tell you to come in the house by a certain time. Okay, cool. It's like, why, mom? I can drive. It's not about you. I'm thinking about that drunk driver that's going to be out around 1 o'clock. I'm thinking about a lot of other things that you're not considering because it's not about you. Right. And so because you don't have that perspective, I want you in before the people from the nightclub start coming home and all other stuff that's coming home and things like that. It's just the lack of perspective. So some conversations I can't even have with you yet because you don't have the experience. And I could be making it worse by having you entertaining certain conversations with you. It's not about communication at that point, right? It's that there is a time to listen. There's a time to, then it's a time to question. When you get like 25 or whatever, you're going to figure it out on your own because you ain't living here. You're going to know that you ain't even going to want to be outside at 1 a.m.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I let, nature takes its course, some things you're going to learn naturally. I shouldn't have these conversations with you at 16, 17, debating and things like that. That's not for me to have. It's a waste of my energy. And it isn't expedient for any of us to have those. Allowing kids just to talk out the side of their mouth and things like that and and things like that really shows them a lack of respect. They become our equal. And that's what we mess up at. That's why children these days don't have respect for teachers.
They don't.
That's why they don't have respect for any authority. And so when it comes to like, how are you teaching them to assimilate into the society?
Exactly.
How are you and I had a conversation with somebody, well, my child could be an entrepreneur, then how are they going to service customers?
Exactly.
Yeah, they're not gonna have good customer service whatsoever.
Yeah, so it's like, it's a whole dynamic. We have to think beyond that moment, that interaction, right? Certain things is going to come with time, and these types of conversations is one of them. My job as a parent is to make sure that you are a productive citizen, that you can handle yourself accordingly, that you can listen, know when to listen, know when to question. And right now is not the time. So it's like, we can't just say, oh, we teach them communication. We teach them communication in other settings. When we watching a movie and we stop the dialogue, when they have a problem and we talk through with them, don't quit. It's just, we just can't put a blanket statement of, allow them to communicate. They're communicating enough. We see social media. That's not constructive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, how can we be effective communicators? At this point, it's time for you to listen. And that is still communication.
There you go.
Girl, you just took my sermon out of my mouth because I preach that to my kids on the daily. My job is to raise you up, teach you how to communicate, how to solve problems, how to take care of yourself, and be a productive citizen. Don't be out here doing no foolishness.
There you go.
Your job is to listen. And when the time comes, you're going to understand it naturally. Or you know what? Or the world will show you. So you either get it here, while it's safe,
there you go.
or the world's going to teach you. And you ain't going to like the way the world's going to teach you. Because it's going to humble you
real quick.
I've gone through with my oldest son. We have a strange relationship. And right now, that's pretty much what we went through. He was 16 talking about why I can't stay out past 10 because all my other friends staying out past 10. I'm not their parent. And then I got other kids in the house following directions why you can't follow directions.
Yep.
So no. And if you decide to go out that door and you don't come in before I lock it, Yeah, and so he chose to stay outside and sleep out, and so he has this whole rigmarole about he had to do it all by himself, and he had to sleep on the streets and stuff. You chose to,
Right.
so
Right. What parent would do that to their child? How? Excuse me.
yeah, yep, yeah. That's pretty much that's.
I mean, it wouldn't have been no different if you'd have got pulled over before 9 o'clock doing something you ain't had no business doing and go to jail. You're gonna have to sit in there overnight.
You gonna talk, you gonna get me out.
No, you're gonna sit overnight, you're gonna learn, and then next time you're gonna do better.
Exactly.
We had a situation where one of our daughters had a friend who had a lot of liberty. She could be out any time of night, do what she wanted to do, and things like that. And
I wanted to beat her.
and one of our kids, that's where her gripe came in at, because just though somebody else parents allowing them to do certain things, and they're a little different than us, different culture and everything. Okay, so.
Right.
So when I finally had a conversation with the mom and I got to know the daughter a little more, the mom and daughter don't even talk. She told me directly, she let her do what she wanted to do just to keep her out of her face, because it's too stressful to deal with. In her way to parent is just to be hands off, because she just can't deal with it. They don't spend no quality time. She just doesn't have the energy because the daughter is so ruthless. And, she's not like abrasive and, all of that, at least from my experience. But the mom was hands off, didn't feel like dealing with the daughter. But my daughter didn't know that. My daughter just thought that her mama just trusts her so much and, and things like that. And my daughter had to realize that what we was giving you was love, quality time, patience, all those times of things, trying to figure you out, trying to learn you as you're, growing up into adulting.
We're parenting
We're
you.
parenting
Yes, we're parenting,
right?
yep.
And then, and another crazy thing about the situation, this young lady, she didn't have a father in the home. And so therefore she would talk to my daughter about her dad, like, he's not supposed to be talking to you like that, or his voice is deep and stuff like that. And it's like, she don't even have a dad. She don't even know what a daddy-daughter date feels like, or y'all going out to brunch and all of that. And I say, you have to understand that when people look at you, they are envious of what you have.
Exactly.
There's a reason why she like to come over here and scope the scene and things like that, and just hang around. But at the same time, trying to make her life, because she had this extra freedom, like better than what you had. And the whole time she wants this wholesome environment. She want to come hang out in the backyard. She used to come to our other daughter games and things like that and come hang around. Why you won't be here if this environment ain't that? Because you were missing it. And we have to get our daughter to see, you looking at them people out there in one way and they looking at you another way. What side of the coin you think they want?
Exactly.
Yeah, and we say it a lot. Yeah, we said it a lot to ours. We have 2 girls that are in the house now, and
they're my 2 girls, and he's their, the extra support. And sometimes they get disrespectful on a whole nother level.
I'll beat them.
And I have got to the point where I've had to go back to the old school, beat them. But again, these kids are made out of some tough stuff, and it's just it tires me. It tires me out and hurts me more than it hurts you for me to try and spank you, and then I gotta stop and say, okay, this is why I did it, or even before, okay, you know why you're getting this, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Or you know what led to this at this point.
Exactly.
I definitely would like to revisit this, and the interview was so wonderful, and and I appreciate that more than anything. But I definitely want to come back to this. But I want to end this, and if you guys were welcoming to part 2, I know you have definitely a busy schedule. You can just let me know what would be great for you guys. But I would like to leave out still with this second part about the kids, where you spoke on that the video that we were watching. How is the transfer from one home to another? We have a problem that is severe at this moment, and our house here is pretty much headquarters, and then they have their dad outside of the home and a grandmother outside of the home, which is the mother to the dad. And then to making a long story short, not to go in grave details of the situation, we all were on the same page where the kids weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. And so they got the phones taken away. Everybody, especially him, hey, you girls, if you know you don't do what you're supposed to be doing, you can get no phones. Take the phone. I'm paying for the phones, and so I snatched them because you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. Right now, this is a what's this? What the phone is?
Distraction.
Yes, but it is
Privilege.
a
Privilege.
privilege. Thank you. Privilege. And so y'all ain't got no privilege at the moment. But in the midst of all this, Christmas come along, and
The one thing that
we said that they don't need as a whole. The dad gets them brand new phones. So I say that our transfer is not transferring right.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it hard because now you have kids on the fence or not understanding why is it at my primary house
I got this set of
I have
rules,
this set of rules,
but when I go outside of the house, those rules don't apply.
and it's like free nilly dilly to this point. What can you say on that?
Well, it's speaking to a blended family. Just speaking to different couples, and even here seeing your response video on TikTok. I tip my hat off to you guys. To be honest with you, man. I could see the challenge and how challenging it could be, but the only thing that I could probably add to it, as far as a suggestion and advice, that it takes a community and it takes a village, but if the village ain't speaking the same language, then it's not a community, it's not a village at that point.
Right.
I would have a follow-up conversation, with the dad, is to why did he think, it was a good idea to do that when the rules in this house is what it is. Because that teeters on the lines of respect.
Right.
And we don't ever want to go down the road of disrespect, because kids can feel and see the dissension, and they can use that to their advantage. And if
I do feel like that's part of
that's what they were
what's happening.
yeah,
that's what they were doing, and
What they are
they still are kind of doing, and
even with y'all coming as adults and having conversation and being on the same page, they're still able to get that off.
you see, that's the thing is
not.
He's not wanting to be on the same page when we need him to be, outside of, hey, because he was kind of the one that I'm not gonna say
at first he was against they don't need no phones, and then it was, well, I feel like they need phones because they were in after school activities, da 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 da. So cool, we got them. They weren't in my control. They had, parental guidance and all that on it.
Yeah, we had to monitor and all this stuff, and we was watching them and we are so happy that we were watching them because some things came out that.
And then their grades started failing. I said, you know what? The agreement was y'all keep your grades up and keep the phone, but y'all grades ain't so well, so you're gonna have to get them back.
Oh, and he's trailblazing.
And he was okay, cool. That's a good idea. I think you should take the phone.
Take the phone. Take
Great.
the phone.
But then you go and buy them for Christmas, and then I'm like, no. You can buy them. You bought them. They're yours. But they're not coming in this house.
There we go.
And that's the line we're not crossing. And, he was mad. But
them phones ain't
came in this house.
That's awesome. I was going to ask
that. That's good.
Yeah, because that's a no-no. But now when they go over there, they do have access to those.
And that's something that I've explained to them. I was like, the biggest issue is y'all don't understand what discipline and being on punishment means. Because if we talk as a whole about you're on punishment, but then when you leave out the house, only because you want to be left alone, kind of like what you were saying about her mom, or you're sleepy, or you call yourself tired. Hell, I'm tired, but I'm still taking care of my kids over here because I know I need to. So I don't feel no sorrow not for you when it comes to that, and how he's barking And but I think the overall issue is that I'm a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Because he sees me as a threat for some reason due to because I love his kids.
Again, the kids see you
Yeah.
as a father figure. They see that, okay, you're in the acting role and position. You're supporting them emotionally. You're there for them to help take them to their doctor's appointments. You make sure they get to therapy. You make sure you show up to band practice. You're filling in the gaps where they need you the most. You may not be the person that they want there, but they're accepting of it and they're like, okay, cool, he's a good guy. He's not doing us any harm. I do want to get some acceptance from you, but I also want to get it from this other person as well. And so they're just at a whole conflict on who to give the authority and most respect to.
Is where you easy for me. Where you lay your head at the most.
It's always going to be harder for
and again, the type of person that my ex is that ain't gonna fly. I'm the man.
Got you.
Yeah, so I've had conversations with him already in the respect thing because I don't like the way that he treats
parenting and co-parenting has been woo! So we definitely are gonna have to have a part 2.
Definitely. We can do that.
I'll be happy to have a part 2.
Absolutely.
And with that, do you guys have any fun things coming up besides sleeping?
That time.
Actually, we do.
What we got?
We have it's still tentative. We don't have the final details, but we have a Valentine's Day event that's coming up.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's in February. So that's going to be good.
Yeah.
And there's only fun thing.
Yeah.
Okay. We got a monthly family meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, we do. That's always fun.
But yeah, that's pretty much.
How does that work? If you can kind of shorten it.
The monthly family meeting. Oh, okay.
So yeah, we call them touches, kind of from organizational lingo that we use in leadership. Okay. So we come together, we go over our family values on the wall. Each kid has one that they have to read. We do updates,
like we have announcements,
changes in the home.
Upcoming schedules. I do a lot of traveling for work and things like that, and they have a lot of things that they have going on after school, so we touch about that. Jonathan, we choose a singleton of the month, and that's it goes to a kid that one of our kids get money because of, like, if they showed extra effort. We'll have them vote on one another, like who showed out last month, or who did something extra for you,
and we make them verbally say why this sibling should be singleton of the month. Is a form of reinforcing positive
and
affirmation,
teaching them communication, and how to receive feedback and things like that.
Yeah.
And then criticism. Okay.
And then we end with a
little Bible study.
Okay.
Yeah. I usually, because I teach it principle based. So how does that relate to your life in the 21st century and 2024? And that's how I usually cap off the meeting. Or they also give them, you say they give their updates and stuff they got going on?
They give their updates and things that they have going on, and we celebrate them, and just a quick little hour.
Yeah, we're busy, so it's important for us to come together and be on one accord. We make sure that we kind of alleviate any possibility of dissension, because if it's there, this is the time to get it off your chest in the family meeting, in the safety of the family meeting. So yeah, I like them. Yeah. I like them.
So January, we had changed the way the chores were done in the house, and we asked them how we restructured the chores. We used to have them on monthly rotation. We went to a weekly rotation. So we're going to definitely get their feedback. Even the 8 and 9 have their feedback on how the chores going and things like that. So it's really good. And our older children are, they're introverts. So it's certain things they don't not really talkative about, but they have been lately.
Mm-hmm.
And they were pressuring us. We was late on the December meeting, and
we haven't had the family meeting yet.
Well, that's good though. I like that. Yeah,
it's even though they may not have much to say, it is making a good impact on them, and they're like, okay, I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, they're trying to win some money. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Money talks. It always does.
It sure does.
So
Okay. You got anything good coming up?
Really? I don't know. Between school and work, I'm just doing mothering and wifing and lifing. Yeah.
Did you just have a birthday? I see the 36.
I did. December 21st.
Awesome.
Happy belated.
Thank you.
And I just had mine on the 11th of January.
Yeah. So he's 44.
Another happy
We
belated.
got no fours over there. We have to upgrade you.
Huh?
We ain't got no fours up there. We're going to have to upgrade you.
Why? I ain't
You
40, I'm
don't
not
need
44.
a reminder? Oh, you're 44. Oh, man.
I'm 24. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, guys,
it has been a great conversation, and we're
Definitely.
looking forward to more. You can listen to the Singletaries on Singletons. I'm sorry. Ooh,
That's okay.
Singletaries? They sound like cards.
You know what? That's my solitaire.
You playing cards with them?
I'm not going to argue with you right now. The Singletons on any of the podcast sightings, Apple, all of the above. Look them up, check them out, listen in, and give them love and support because they are awesome.
At the love.
And we're excited to have you guys back on for a part 2.
Yeah.
Their what you call it? Link tree is in the description as well, so you guys can click on that. Make sure I did add that in the description if you guys want to go find them. Definitely, they have some great stuff, and I gotta go play catch up. So don't be surprised if you have Buku's messages saying, "Hey, so yeah."
Bring it on. We appreciate you guys having us on.
This was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I even texted my daughter because she I gotta go pick her up from a little event she's at. I was like, hey, I'm gonna be a little late. Just letting you know the conversation's going good. But she
okay. Well, all right. If you don't mind staying like 1 or 2 minutes because the live has to completely end, and once it's over, you guys can go and
take care of the kiddos.
Yeah, to take care of the kiddos. We're kiddos free at the moment, so.
All right, guys. Good night, and we'll see you all next time.
All right. Good night. Thank you.